Night Before Christmas by Chelsea Hagan. Narrated by Chelsea Hagan, Joanne Picard, and Bailey Nalecki. Was the night before Christmas, when all through the house, not an AAC device was lit up, not even its mouse. The AAC devices were all stacked in the corner, charging with care, in the hopes that St. F. Harrow, inventor of the AAC board, wouldn't trip on them there. The children were all nestled snug in their beds, while visions of AAC devices, with real voices, danced in their heads. And Mama in her onesie, and I on my phone, had just settled down to binge on the Game of Thrones. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I hit the mute button and cursed my full bladder. I flopped out of bed and yelped as I stepped on some Lego. I felt the Canadian icy wind as I threw open the window. The satellites casted a bright light on the new, yellow-crested snow. I thought to myself, what an airy, hauntingly glow. That's when I saw a snowdrift and an Uber's headlight beams. And then a door opened, and out jumped the nerdy AAC device team, with a little old driver holding an AAC device and cursing the snow. I knew in a moment it must be St. F. Harrow, shaking his head, with fists in the air, as mad as a troll. He called the AAC team by their professional roles. Now SLP, now OT, now physio, and special ed teacher, on consultant, on programmer, and biomedical engineer.
Wait, the list is so long, I can't call you all by name. It is giving me a pain in the frontal membrane. Now, get me out of this yellow, crusted snowdrift. Get me out quick. If we survive this night, maybe I will give you all a peppermint stick. As tin soldiers that all stand in a perfect straight line, the AAC team started to march, but staggered like they were drunk on wine. So they mashed the snowdrift, they made it through. Snow stuck to their bodies like sticky glue. And then, cringing, I heard the opening of the front door, the stomping of boots on my antique silk rug that lay on the floor. I drew in a breath and laid out a long sigh, and just like Tom Cruise in Skidded Saint, F. Harrow with a twinkle in his eye, he boomed, "This is risky business. We can't be seen." Then with a clap of his hands, he said, "Get busy, AAC team." The team dug out the tools and quickly worked on the task. They fixed the glitches, the programming, but the voices they saved last. St. F. Harrow's eyes turned a blazing, fiery red, and his smile not so merry. His whole face suddenly looked, well, frankly, quite scary. Then he let out a thunderous, ear-shattering shout. "If you can't get the voices right, get the heck out. The voices have no inflection, emotion, or tone." That's when I heard the SLP let out a small, frightful groan.
"You see, sir," said the SLP. "They haven't been invented yet." Seething, St. F. Harrow said, "But we have rockets on Mars and the internet. I promised the children. Now everyone, take a step back." The teacher rolled her finger beside her head and whispered, "What a quack." Then what did I see? It was St. F. Harrow, jamming his finger deep into his nose, and into the communication devices the wondrous magic did flow. The voices rang out with emotions. Oh, how beautiful they sang. St. F. Harrow smiled and said, "We're done. Let's get going, gang." The AAC team packed up their tools so lightly and quick. St. F. Harrow chuckled, "Well done. You will all get an extra peppermint stick." Out the door they all fled with a bound. I swear, as I watched, their feet barely touched the ground. Then, Saint F. Hall Rowe stopped, his head over his shoulder. He looked at me. He had a huge toothy smile. His face was shining with a joyful glee. With a nod of his head, and a wink of his eye, his finger flew across his AAC device like a graceful butterfly. I stood in the doorway, my teeth chattering from the cold. I waited 4 minutes for his message to unfold. Then, his device spoke, and it was saturated with inflection and delight.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Copyright 2022 by Chelsea Hagan. All rights reserved. Hello, this is Chelsea Hagan. I hope you enjoyed my poem. Did you know that, yes, there really is a F. Hall Rowe? He was one of the earliest pioneers of AAC. In the 1920s, he co-developed and used one of the first manual communication boards. This poem was narrated by using AAC. I want to thank my two sexy robot voice army friends, Joanne and Bailey, for helping to narrate my poem. You girls are amazing, and I am so glad we are all friends. Shout out to Joanne and Aaron for recording and editing this video. Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays.